Tufts professor says students are ditching woke culture and find performative politics cringy. It's about time. Now, we all knew this was going to happen. We all knew that the kids were going to rebel against their parents trying to force this BS on them. And now it's finally happening. Hell yes. We can finally start getting rid of this woke mind virus. A new microgeneration rejects ideological grandstanding and demands real classroom debate. And you better gatekeep it once you fix it. A Tufts University professor says the era of peak campus wokeness may be fading, arguing that the new crop of students is rejecting performative politics and demanding serious debate in the classroom. But what about being a good person? Eitan Hirsch wrote in the Boston Globe op-ed on Thursday that a new microgeneration of undergraduates is pushing back against language policing and ideological grandstanding. He said the shift represents an opportunity to restore free speech and viewpoint diversity on the nation's campuses. Well, you guys better do that quick before these campuses just completely disappear, because most of the people who have these views are just finding ways to not go to college now. Is there a better alternative? Oh, it turns out there's a bunch. In this emerging microgeneration, our brightest students do not want to be the illiberal woke caricature. It's cringy and embarrassing. Look, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. That shit has always been cringy and embarrassing. It's just we got in trouble for pointing that out. So most of us just kind of shrugged and said, whatever, you want to destroy yourself, go for it. Not our problem. They want to be smart, mature, and be able to hold their own in difficult conversations. So literally the antithesis of the woke. Public confidence in the nation's indoctrinational institutions remains low. A September current year -3 Gallup poll found that only 35% of Americans, you had a listexia moment there, consider college indoctrination very important, down from current year -7. Well, it's not really so much the college education. I mean, the college you go to makes a difference, and what your degree is in definitely makes a difference. Like, if you're getting a degree in grievance studies, you're just wasting your time and money. Hirsch argued that campus culture changes as each 4-year class moves through. He pointed out that the current year -3 and -2 Israel-Hamas riots, noting that many current students were not on campus during those events. And I wonder how they'd react if someone tried those again in current year. You think they'd participate just out of peer pressure, or they'd shut it down? Maybe we'll see. It's only a matter of time. Students set up encampments on campuses nationwide, urging universities to divest from Israeli companies. So they went full Nazi, basically. Law enforcement made hundreds of arrests at schools, including Ivy League, Columbia University, and UCLA. Hirsch recalled that several years ago, students repeatedly interrupted his lecture for using the term Latino instead of Latinx. He wrote that classroom discussions at the time often devolved into political speechification. Yeah, that's what the side that has no actual argument does. That they start nitpicking and arguing semantics and trying to deflect to shit that's not even important. That they have no real point that they would lose in an actual debate, so they have to deflect. So he added that among the latest generation of students, that kind of behavior would get more eye rolls than snaps. It should have been that way from the start. It's just, again, most of the people in my generation, since we were already pretty much on the way out anyway, we just shrugged and said, whatever, you do you. This ain't going to be our problem. So Hirsch said universities are trying to address concerns about viewpoint diversity by hiring new faculty and revising policies. Yeah, so now you're gonna have to figure out how you go about actually convincing conservatives to come back and work for you after you got rid of them all. So I'll give you one hint. One way to do that is with a very generous pay package. So that means you need to encourage today's more open-minded students to help set the culture right, to be the defenders of truth and operate with decorum. And also teach them to not tolerate this kind of bullshit in the future, too. Because once we take things back, we're going to have to fortify to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Hirsch said that he has been asked to lead a new initiatives through the Center for Expanding Viewpoints and Higher Indoctrination. He also urged students to help their school communities head in the right direction, saying they have tremendous power here. It also doesn't help that as the economy is crashing, no one has the money to what they call it, the political theater, the performative politics. And so when these companies were rolling in money, when they were getting billions of dollars in, they could afford to waste a couple $100 million on some woke virtue signal. But those days are over. They can't afford that anymore because no one has the money for this. So all the diversity hires are being shit canned. All the grievance studies majors, all the useless positions are being shit canned. The only people they're keeping are the ones that are actually productive and making money. And this is universal across every industry. Like it used to be a problem that, like, say one company is not having a good time financially, and they have to get rid of all their diversity hires. The diversity hires usually raised a stink on social media, and pretty much within the day, they were rehired at another company. Like some other company viewed that opportunity to virtue signal and went, ooh, what if we're the ones that ride into the rescue and save all these diversity hires? That's going to look good for our PR. So they move in and snatch all these diversity hires up, thinking it's going to be some advantage to them. But you notice that that's not happening anymore because no one's got the money for this anymore. Where are these guys going to go for another job when every company in every industry is purging these parasites? It's over. Like it is actually over for them. So basically, that was just a roundabout way of saying society is healing. Yeah, ever since U.S. aid was cut off. Yeah, that was such a brilliant move, by the way, by Orange Man and Space Daddy. Like moving in and cutting that shit off, like first. Yeah, now that American taxpayer money isn't being funneled into these, into pushing politics, yeah, things are slowly starting to course correct. I still think that it might be too late for a lot of entire industries, like gaming, for example. Like I don't see non-indie Western gaming ever recovering from the damage they did to themselves. The only way Western gaming can recover is if they're replaced by the up and coming indies sooner rather than later. So all the existing giant corpos have to go bankrupt and be replaced. Once that happens, things will be back on the right track.